Hi everybody, my name's Rebecca and welcome back to my bookish travels. Today I am, as the title says, doing a book haul and also explaining why there was no video last week. So I know it's not mandatory to put out a video every single week, but I try to. It's something that brings me great joy. Unfortunately, the beginning of last week, I ended up, both my mom and I, testing positive for COVID, which was scary in itself as neither of us had tested positive previously, but scary in that we didn't know fully what to expect because with this virus, everybody's system kind of reacts differently. Some people have no symptoms, some people have all of them, some people it's not a long issue, some people it lasts very long. My mom and I were on opposite ends of the spectrum. She ended up having about 24 hours worth of symptoms and you'd never even know that she had it. On the other hand, myself, I had quite a few different symptoms and I am definitely experiencing that lingering exhaustion. I figured with doing a book haul today, it won't exhaust me too much, and hopefully it will be something fun for you guys to watch. I definitely did not plan on getting COVID, nor do my mom and I even know where we picked it up. We both have still been wearing masks if we have to go out for any type of grocery shopping or if we have to pick up a package. For myself, it's still mandated in my workplace, so if I'm at work, I still have a mask on. So it just kind of goes to show, like, you can put all of the preventative measures in place, but it's not going to necessarily mean that you're not going to get it. So I'm just thankful, compared to 2 years ago at the start of this, where we were to where we are now. We've got vaccinations and other things in place to try to be able to combat, whereas previously it was so unknown that we didn't know, at least the medical side of things, didn't fully know what to expect from there. So I'm just thankful, it wasn't as bad as it could have been and that my mom and I are both still here and whatnot. But aside from that, and again, because I don't want to overexhaust myself trying to do this video, I have a book haul. The way that I'm going to do it is I'm going to split it into the months that I got them, and I'm also going to let you know what I have and haven't read of the books on this list, because there are some that I've already read and there's some that I haven't, and I did end up purchasing some shortly before, like a few days before my mom and I tested positive for COVID, that have come in, and I have some that I ended up, when I hit like the recovery time from COVID, I ended up ordering that some have come and some haven't, or they're in the mail. And I've got quite a few that I've pre-ordered that are coming in the course of the next few months up until like the end of the year. So I don't know. I love pre-orders. What are your guys' thoughts on those? Do you like pre-orders? Do you hate them? I like them because it's kind of like a little gift to myself. I know the date they're being released, but I don't know per se when it's going to come in the mail for me. So let's jump into this book haul though, and you guys can see all of the books I've acquired since January. So the first 4 books that I ended up purchasing in the month, the first was The Editor's Extra, which is The Last Resort. And my mom and I did actually read this when I got it. The next one that I have is The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue by V.E. Schwab. And I have read this, and I actually have a video for a review on this. If you guys are interested, I will link that in the description box below, and you can go and listen to my thoughts there if you're interested. And I also bought at the same time There's Someone Inside Your House by Stephanie Perkins. And I have read this one as well. The final book that I ended up getting was on Audible. I used my credit to purchase The Case of the Bizarre Bouquets by Nancy Springer, and my mom and I listened to this one together. We're slowly working through all of the Enola Holmes books, and my mom and I just love listening to them together. In all, January, I bought 4 books. I've read all 4 of them, so not too shabby. Is February, and I ended up getting 8 books in February. The first one is The Astronaut and the Star. This is a Kindle book. I ended up getting this one free with Amazon Prime. I guess they have a first reads program where you can purchase a pre-order book and you get it straight to your Kindle right away and you can start reading it early. Unfortunately, I haven't started this one yet, but it sounds so much fun. One that I got is The Princess Game by Soman Chainani, and this one's on my Kindle as well. I did read this one, and I did actually talk about this in like a little like mini book review video with another fairy tale retelling-esque book. I'll link both of those for The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue as well as The Princess Game. I'll link those 2 videos in the description box below if you want to go and check them out and listen to some of my thoughts on these. Next, I got Winter Dark, and this was the Audible Editor's Extra, and my mom and I listened to this one together, and I just want to say that the narrator is phenomenal. I was kind of on the fence with regards to the book itself, but the actual narration was just mind-blowing. On my Kindle, I have Her Forbidden Alpha, which was a recommendation I had, and I was like, sure, why not? I still haven't read it. I didn't realize it was dealing with wolf or werewolves or wolf shifters. I don't know the actual terminology for it. I didn't realize that it was connected with that. So I don't know how I feel about it. I am going to read it because I did purchase it, but I'm not sure. We'll see when I finally get around to reading it what I think of it. The next 2 were on my Kindle as well, and they are volume 4 and volume 5 of I'll Be in Charge of Your Body, and these were the last 2 in this manga series that I needed to read to complete the series. So I ended up purchasing them and I just reread the first 3 volumes and then these 2 right after. I think it took me less than an hour to get through the full manga series. So I have read both of these. February was the month for me to buy Kindle books because I also got Dark Intentions, and this one was actually free on Amazon, and I hadn't heard of it before, and this was such a quick read, guys. Such a quick read. One that I got in February was with my Audible credit, and that was The Case of the Peculiar Pink Fan. It was the next one in the Enola Holmes series, and obviously my mom and I have already listened to this one. 8 books that I bought in February. I ended up reading 6 of the 8 of them, so not too bad. Right, so moving on to March, I ended up getting quite a few books in March, and I do have a couple that I purchased this month that are on this list as well, and I'll explain when I get to them why I've grouped them together. First one that I got was Gutter Child. This was the Audible Editor's Extra. I haven't listened to it as of yet, but I'm very intrigued to listen to it as it is a dystopian and it just sounds very intriguing. Then I ended up picking up 2 Soman Chainani books. The first one is The School for Good and Evil, One True King, and unfortunately I bought this not realizing I already owned it. This is the first time I've had that happen. Normally I remember what I've purchased. Apparently I didn't realize I already owned it, so I am probably going to see if I can sell it and kind of get some of that money back, or even just give it away as a gift, as it is a fully new edition of the book. So we'll see. And the other one I got is Beasts and Beauty, Dangerous Tales by Soman Chainani, and this is a signed first edition, and I'm so intrigued by this. I really love Soman Chainani's writing. I haven't read something yet where I'm like, I hate this. So I have very high hopes for this one. The next 2 that I purchased were Oddball by Sarah Anderson. This is the 4th book in the Sarah Scribbles collection, and I have read this. And then I have Cheshire Crossing by Andy Weir and Sarah Anderson, and I've read this one as well. The next three books that I have, I ended up picking up in March. I got them for free because my mom and I went to what's called Festival of India. So across Ontario or across Canada, there is a doctor that goes around and does what's called Festival of India, where they have traditional food as well as traditional dance and just kind of an educational night to introduce you to the Indian culture. And I went with my mom, and these next three books were free gifts that they gave to everybody that went in. So technically, they gave two to each person. One of them was a duplicate for my mom and I, so we've given that to someone else. And then So the next three books that I have were freebies given to us as a thank you gift. Technically, one of them is a duplicate, so we're going to give one of them away to someone because we don't need to keep the same book. My mom and I can share it. So the Festival of India that we went to, I guess it's across Ontario or across Canada. This doctor does an evening in different cities called Festival of India, and it's just kind of an educational night where they introduce you to the culture, some of the traditional music and dance, as well as the traditional food that you would eat in India. I found it really educational. It was my first time going. It was my mom's first time going, and we just really enjoyed it. It was quite interesting, and it's great to be able to experience another culture that you're not aware of. So I really liked it. My mom really liked it, and should it ever come through our town again, we're definitely planning to attend. So the first one that we ended up getting a duplicate of is the Higher Taste, which this actually has different recipes in it, so you can make some actual traditional Indian cuisine. And my mom and I are actually interested in a couple of the recipes in here to give them a try out. That one, nor have I read these other two. The other one they gave was Chant and Be Happy, The Power of Mantra Meditation. And it does have exclusive conversations with John Lennon and George Harrison. They also gave Hiding in Unnatural Happiness by Devamrita Swami. So these are the two that they gave with that, the Higher Taste for the recipes. But the next set of books that I do have a couple of books that I purchased in April on this, and it's more so because all of these are by the same author, and it's just kind of bringing me up to like more of a current standing on the series so that I can basically power through them, because I feel like this summer I'm probably going to be reading quite a bit in this series because I'd like to get caught up so that I'm current and everything. And that is the books in the Stephanie Plum series. So the first four that I have are the Between the Numbers books, which I ended up having to buy used. They were the only places that I could find them. So I have Visions of Sugar Plums, Lovin', Lucky, Spooky. We move into the numbered books. So we have Smokin' 17, Explosive 18, Victorious 19, Down 20, Grit 21, It 22, 23, and then lastly we have Hardcore 24. And the only reason I'm keeping both of these up is I don't know why they had to change the sizings of the books. It is a pet peeve of mine. I know it's not necessarily important, but like this difference here can be annoying sometimes when it comes to your bookshelves. Obviously, I haven't read any of these ones in the Stephanie Plum series because I am only up to and completed book 7. So luckily I've got quite a few to read through before I have to even consider buying another book in the Stephanie Plum series. So I've got time to wait and to be able to power through this series. And finally, we move into the books I purchased this month so far. that have arrived. So the first one I have is actually on my Audible. I used my credit to purchase The Case of the Cryptic Crinoline by Nancy Springer, and this was book 5 in the Enola Holmes series, and my mom and I have read it at this point in time. We ended up on Saturday. We sat down and we just listened to the entire audiobook in one sitting. I was quite surprised. Hey everyone, future Rebecca here. While I was editing, I forgot to include one other book that I got at the beginning of April. It's part of the Amazon First Reads, and that was The Half-Life of Ruby Fielding. I have not read this one yet, but it sounds so interesting. I can't believe I forgot to include it. So you're getting me in all of my beautiful editing glory. So back to, previous Rebecca. Onto the physical editions of books that I have currently. I have The Rage of Dragons by Evan Winter, and I'm actually currently reading this right now because this is the April pick for the book club I am a part of, and I'm really loving it so far. This is such a unique world, and I've just been instantly pulled into it right away. And sometimes I find it really hard getting into fantasy worlds for how the authors created it and whatnot. And I just find that like the world is one that I've been pulled into very easily, and the author's writing is just so descriptive and gripping that I struggle to put it down at times. Next one I have is Fruits Basket, Another, Volume 3 by Natsuki Takaya, and this is, I don't know, I haven't read the first one in this, but I believe it's a spin-off or it's a retelling from a different character's point of view for the original Fruits Basket stories. Have You Belong to Me by Joanna Lindsay, and this is the second book in the Cardinia series, and I really loved the first one. I really like Joanna Lindsay's writing, so I'm very excited to have this one. I have is The Courage to be Disliked by Ichiro Kishimi and Fumitaki Koga, and it's the Japanese phenomenon that shows you how to change your life and achieve real happiness. And I've heard a lot of really good things about this, and I thought I should probably give it a try. Next set I have is a full series because I ended up seeing a video sharing like a little like snippet from one of the books, and I was like, I need to read this. So it is the Mary the Scott series by Jolie Vines. That's the name. So I have the prequel, The Rival, Storm the Castle, Book Love Most, Say Least, Hero, Novella Come the Fall, book Picture This, the 5th book, Oh Baby. Last but definitely not least, I have the last 4 books in this haul, and it is for the manga series Honey So Sweet by Amu Meguru, and it's the 4th, 5th, 6th, and 7th book. Book 8 is not here yet. I did order it. Unfortunately, the package got damaged in transit to me, so it ended up getting sent back to Amazon. So I had to order it from another seller, and it's not here as of yet. But I read the first 3 in this series, and it's just such a cute shoujo manga, and I want to reread 1, 2, and 3, and then complete the series with these books. I love just everything about like the cover art, the spines, and then the actual like manga art, and the storyline is just so cute. So in case you guys wanted to see those covers, so this is 4, 5, 6, 7, and this series is revolving around this really nice girl who ends up helping this one guy in a certain point in time, and doesn't realize it that he actually goes to the same school as her, but everybody kind of stays away from him because he always has like this really angry face and everybody's terrified of him, and it's just so cute. It's so cute, guys. So that's everything. That is my massive book haul. I have a lot more unread than read out of these lists. None of the books that I bought this month so far, aside from the Audible purchase and The Rage of Dragons, which I'm currently reading, everything else is unread at this point in time, but I do have plans to read through these. I feel like that is something that we always say when we get new books as book lovers. But yeah, that's my haul, and I know it's longer than I normally share, but again, in the course of the last few months, I didn't plan on purchasing as many as I have, but I'm glad that I have them, and I'm going to continue to read through them. So it might be a bit before you see another book haul, because as I said, the ones that I am either waiting to arrive or pre-ordered, the last pre-order doesn't come in till December, so who knows? I try to kind of clump them together because I'm not buying as much as I normally do. Let's just ignore March and April at this point in time. Those are outside of the usual norm, as I'm trying not to purchase as many books. I'm trying to read through the ones I have unread so far. But let me know, have you guys read any of the ones I've shared that I haven't picked up yet? Have you read some of the ones that I have? If you would like to discuss more, I would love to hear your thoughts. Try to keep them as spoiler-free as possible, just in case we have anybody who hasn't read any that I mentioned today. And I will see you guys in my next video. Until then, stay safe, stay well, and I'll see you next time.